Alan Weisselberg's name is new to a lot of Americans today. It's not new to you.
No, he has been with the family clear back when Fred Trump, Donald's father, had a business partner, Willie Tomasello, identified by law enforcement in public reports as an associate of the Genovese and Gambino crime families. And this goes to how the Trump organization has always been involved with organized crime, in more recent times with Russian mobsters, Russian-speaking mobsters.
All right, so we know from the Cohen tape that apparently Weisselberg knew about the plan to pay off the former Playboy playmate Karen McDougal, who claimed that she had an affair with Donald Trump. We don't know that that's true. We know that that's what Michael Cohen recorded Donald Trump as saying. What do you make of that?
Well, Donald is not a detail guy. He is an overseer of things. And Weisselberg is the guy who would be in the know about every detail, where money was pulled from, where money was sent, what obligations were deferred or not paid. All of that would flow across his desk. So when you think follow the money, he is money central.
So the morning after that tape was released, everybody was very determined to figure out who said check and who said cash. But in fact, if you got Weisselberg to talk, it's not actually important whether it was a check or cash, because Weisselberg would know.
Well, he certainly should, and as your earlier guest pointed out, there is no attorney-accountant privilege here. You know, years ago, Donald and I had an interview where I was trying to go over one of his business deals with him, and he was getting more and more frustrated, and finally he blurts out, "How do you know all this?" And I said, "Well, Donald, because you and your lawyers put it in the public record." And what I realized was, I knew his deal better than he did. The details, somebody has to be the detail man, and now he's under subpoena. This is not good for Donald Trump.
Connect this to the thing that you've been very involved in, and that is the search for Donald Trump's tax returns. Last year, you got your hands on one part of his 2005 return, which you revealed here on MSNBC. Obviously, Mueller knows this is the guy who'd have them or have access to them or have information about them. Do you think that's connected to this at all?
Oh, sure. And by the way, we had it first at DC Report, and then we went to MSNBC.
That's true. But, and I believe that the site went down because so many people went to see it that day. It was such a big piece of news. 24
hours it was crashed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The reality here is that what's in Donald's tax returns, and more importantly, the books and records behind those tax returns, are going to be with Alan Weisselberg. That's what matters here. And he's the one who's going to know, well, how did they justify this or that deduction? And let's remember, Donald had 2 income tax fraud trials. He lost both. And his own tax lawyer at the time, Jack Mitnick, testified under oath. That's my signature on that tax return, but neither I nor my firm prepared it, which is a very good sign of fraud. So I'm sure diligent prosecutors with subpoenas for documents and testimony are going to find lots of interesting things in the financial records of the Trump Organization.
So just to follow up on that, is it possible then that they could bring Weisselberg in and say, we know you were involved in some of this stuff, or at least you had knowledge of the fact that something wasn't above board, and hence we need you to tell us more? Could they use that as leverage against Weisselberg to testify or at least give information about Trump?
Yes, and of course he can take the Fifth Amendment, because our Constitution says you do not have to incriminate yourself. That doesn't mean you've committed a crime. It just is a right that every one of us has. Prosecutors can then get immunity, and once immunity is granted, then you testify or you can go to jail for refusing to testify. And I expect that we may well see that play out.
All right, David, thanks very much for this. Nobody knows about this more than you do. Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.